Something that we do in our day-to-day lives is communicate, whether that be verbally or non-verbally. One of the most primal examples of non-verbal communication is through our judgments, and one of the most prime examples of how we judge others is through the TV series pilot episode. Modern Family is a beloved TV series, and the pilot episode, as of every show, is where we get to know the characters based on our judgments and we make a decision to see if this is a series we want to see more in the future. I will only compare the couples of this show to a certain non-communication theory that explains what we could have perceived from these characters in their first episode. However, that doesn't mean that these theories can't apply to other characters in the show. One of our first judgments and the foundation of our judgment is an identity display. This is how we perceive the type of character one might be with non-verbal cues. These non-verbal cues could be by the way we dress, physical features, and even our sex or gender. However, these judgments we make of those may be wrong. Phil and Claire are the stereotypical heterosexual couple that fit a lot of the stereotypes that come with this dynamic. When we first see Claire, we probably think to ourselves, man, is that one uptight woman? She's yelling for her kids to come downstairs and she's trying to set everything up. She's wearing casual, uncomfortable clothes while having a high bun, signifying that she doesn't go out often because she has too much to do at the house. This is later confirmed when we only see her doing laundry around the home and is in charge of a lot of the decisions. Phil is very obviously the man of the house. We could also make the assumption that he's the breadwinner because of his formal attire. We assume that he's some type of businessman who earns enough for his family. We can also conclude that Phil is more optimistic because he's always smiling and soft-spoken. This might be why he's seen as less masculine, but we could also make that assumption because what type of man knows every single song and dance to High School Musical? All in this together, yes we are. Moving on to the next theory, impression formation. Although identity display does go hand in hand with impression formation, identity display is mainly based on judgments on what we see. Impression formation is the understanding we form from their behaviors of the characters. With Jay and Gloria, there were a lot of physical differences, most notably their age and race/ethnicity. We can tell that Jay's an American. We could also tell that Gloria is somewhere from South America because of her accent and darker skin tone. This makes us think that they're not even a couple because of how drastically different they physically are.
Oh, and this must be your dad.
Her dad?
Yeah.
No, that's funny. Actually, no, I'm her husband.
At the soccer game, Jay doesn't care about his stepson's game, and he later changes his wardrobe because he doesn't want to be seen as an old guy, which makes us believe that Jay's insecure. When Mitchell told the family that he adopted a daughter, Jay looked physically confused, and when he apologized for the things he said, he looked uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in a way that felt bad for being too judgmental for his son. This scene showed us that Jay is going to be the character in this series that's going to have to go through a lot of change with his traditional thinking. Our first impression of Gloria is that she's very aggressive and expressive. You can tell she's expressive because she's always using her hands to communicate. When she's at the soccer game, we can see how involved she is by her non-verbal cues of kicking a ball, raising her voice, throwing her hands in the air, and visibly getting upset when her son misses the ball. When the mother tells the coach to kick out Gloria's son, she yells at the woman while violently pointing her finger at her. This not only shows that she's confrontational, but she's protective of her son. Moving on to our last theory, stereotyping. When we make our judgments, sometimes we stereotype people because it's a shortcut that doesn't involve too much investment on our end. However, it does lead to inaccurate judgments. Mitch and Cam are the gay couple on this show, and some of the stereotypes about gay men is that they're very sexualized, as in they want to seduce others, they want to have a lot of sex and contain STIs. But something that I want to add to the list of gay stereotypes is that they're very dramatic, which is so inaccurate and not true.
We adopted a baby.
Well, maybe it is a little true with Cameron. With Mitchell, it's less so because it seems like his gay identity isn't part of his personality. He's just a gay guy that does everything everybody else does. Therefore, these characters aren't your stereotypical gay guys. We use all of these judgments when we glance at someone or even when we meet them. We make assumptions on the type of person one might be based off of looks, behaviors, and labels we give them. This is to help us find out if this is a person we want to be around. However, these judgments can be wrong, so it is best to actually get to know the person before you make a final decision based on what you've seen. In conclusion, we pick up on nonverbal cues to make judgments on people which could apply to real world situations.